Hello! If you are watching, welcome to the integrated folks. You are listening to the Innie, Outie podcast, the only Severance podcast that you need. I think there's about 4 or 5 others as far as I can tell, but this is the only one that's doing video, I guess. So that makes it different. I am your one of your hosts, Danny McKeown.
And I'm Rhiannon Shaw, the other host. And with us today, we have Mr. Ian Smith.
Hello.
Woo!
I saw the cameras were there, but I didn't realise you would be presenting it to the camera. Should I always look at that camera?
No. you can talk to us.
I think if you want someone to know a particular thing, like if you're like talking to, you know, if you want to like I need you to know this, then definitely any sorts of threats or declarations or which
I'm talking to you, Kevin.
Yes.
Because if there's a Kevin watching, they're gonna be like,
oh yeah. And Kevin will love that. He'll be like, I don't know.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out Kevin.
Kevin, our number one listener, perhaps our only listener. we tried to do each episode for one guy. Yeah. But Ian, you've got like quite a lot going on at the moment because you had a Radio 4 show and you were nominated for an Edinburgh Award. Was that right? Last year? Or
Yes.
Yes. And you're also going to come up on telly. You're on telly soon, right?
Yeah, I think I was on TV last night.
Was it last night? Okay, cool.
Someone wasn't watching his TV last night.
Sorry, I was not to sound like such a mover and shaker, but I was out.
Someone wasn't glued to ITV2 like a normal person.
Just waiting for Jurassic Park to run on again. I'm like, come on. But the thing I want to know is, with so much going on, what made you want to come down and talk to us about Severance?
I think Severance certainly was my favourite TV show of like the year or the couple of years when it was out. I don't usually get so excited about a TV show that I have to watch the theme music.
Yes, yeah.
I feel like that's part of it. Like the first series of True Detective, I loved the theme music so much and felt like it encapsulated the show. And I wouldn't allow skipping of that.
Yes, definitely. I had that in with Succession as well, where like we would say I think when the last season on was like, we're not skipping the theme. By the way, we're getting pumped up.
Especially last episode of a series, I think you need to respect it and not skip a theme.
Oh, completely. Yeah, I agree. Well, there's a really good one in Breaking Bad. I think it's the second to last episode where they just play it as like the kind of final music moment or whatever, and you're like, oh, sick. Okay, cool.
The one where he's in the bar.
Yes, yeah. And it's like, we're in the show. This is what it was about. Like this exact moment. How did you come across it, or was it just like
I don't know actually. I remember buying an Apple TV subscription.
Nice.
Purely to watch it and then immediately cancel the subscription.
That was true.
That's what you do, kids. If you haven't seen it yet,
that was built into their plan. I'm pretty sure, at least in 2021.
Come on, Kev.
Yeah.
Buy it, watch it quickly.
Yeah. And you
Get rid of
can.
it.
You binge it. Like the first time I watched it, I was like,
you get in, you get out. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah.
But I can't remember what drew me to it, but I think I remember probably read about it, and it ticked a lot of boxes of like the cast and the tone of kind of like dark comedic. Like I love the Fargo, the film and the TV series.
Yes. Yeah.
And then like reading about they call it sort of what's the word, please?
Word for what?
For a space that is
liminal
spaces.
Kevin knew.
It's a buzzword.
Yeah, he's shouting at the TV
Kev was shouting.
All right, Kev, come on.
Calm down.
Liminal is like, I think, the perfect word for this show as well, because there's so much of it, and especially watching this episode. We're watching episode 2. Watching episode 2 today, or talking about. We're going to sort of swim in and out though. Swim is a weird word too.
I like it, but it's very liminal.
We're not. Yes.
I'm not a strong swimmer.
No.
It doesn't matter. As long as I'm in water that's say neck height, I'll join you.
Yeah.
Can you keep afloat? Can you keep like?
Not reliably.
Okay, cool.
But
it's really a problem.
I can wade.
Okay, cool.
You guys swim, and then give me a bit of time, and I'll catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll throw you in like in the 70s, how they learned to swim, and then we'll be sort of just watching from the sides.
Yeah, and then I will die.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's but that's the risk we take when we get into these waters. Yeah.
Get me some armbands, and I'll swim with you.
Aw.
But just what I was gonna say, sorry, in this particular episode, it was just very, the liminality of it was particularly like, oh wow, like this is really creepy and spooky, and like they don't even talk in full sentences half the time, and have no idea what's going on.
I feel like this is this the first episode where you really see them adventure through the corridors for a while?
So I think so. Like you start to see it work. Like okay, it's a bigger office than just that room. And
Yeah,
like
they're building out. I think they're building out the
Yeah.
universe because in the first episode you only really see the sort of the elevator down, the office, and Cobell's office.
Yeah.
But now in this episode we get the break room.
Yes, you get the intro of the break room,
The wellness room.
the wellness room. Yeah,
Miss Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a new department. I guess the first time you see Christopher Walken.
it is wild that he's in this show. Like he definitely walks in and is like, all right, I guess Chris they got him. I guess they got Christopher Walken. I read actually the reason they got him was because they talked to John Turturro and they were like, you have to have a relationship with someone, so you get first pick of who it is.
Oh, wow.
And then he was like, well, I like Christopher's like a mate, and I would fall in love with him. So let's just get Christopher in.
Really?
Yeah. Even though I feel like he's playing so against type in this, because he's not like June or like he doesn't go big on the walk-in on this. I feel like
He's such a sweetie pie in this. Like that is my overall feeling of Walken's character.
Yeah, I think it's rare that you see Christopher Walken and you're not just thinking, it's fucking Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Like that you get that he's a character. He's a bit more like I hate. I mean, it's not a cameo because it's a part, but I hate any film where there's a little cameo where you can see the cameras leaning in as if to go,
It's a guy.
Look who that is.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And then all I'm thinking is, that's Ben Affleck.
Yeah, they assume that they need to zoom in because we're freaking out too hard that they got Ben Affleck. Like, oh my god, Ben? Yeah, The Bear did that quite a lot actually. Did you guys see The Bear, that show?
I
think this might be the second time I keep just bringing up The Bear on the wrong. But basically, like, there's this one episode which has like 8 different cameos, and it's like a crazy.
Oh, I think I've heard about this.
Yeah,
like around the dinner table.
Yeah, but it just they all come in at once, and you're just like, what the hell? Why are they all famous?
Yeah.
This
That's
is
pretty
like,
intense, I
Yeah.
guess, because you're like, oh my god, registering all of these different actors I've seen in something else. Because always when I'm watching something, I'm like, what else have I seen them in?
I know, I'm really
even if I know the actor's name, I'm like, but there's something that I'm recognizing them from.
Yeah, it's even like. Yeah, because sometimes it doesn't even matter. Oh yeah, they were on that one episode of Doctor Who, and that'll be enough. That'll be as if every actor ever hasn't been on one episode of Doctor Who.
I feel like Interstellar did quite a good job of. You had no idea that Matt Damon was in the cast.
Yeah.
Until like
surprise.
3/4 of the way through, and he's kind of thawed out. And you're like, oh, Matt Damon's in this.
Like okay, so we have a few. This is sort of we go through some theories and we go through some. Is there any as far as like what you want to see happen next? Because we always talk about like this is spoilery by the way, Kevin. It's spoilery. Like with the ending of this season, what do you want to happen and where do you think it goes from here? Because to my mind, it's always like, what the hell? They just like kind of blew up the whole thing. So you're like, what the hell happens next? Like,
yeah, I think that's like, I guess, the sign of a good ending. That you're like, well, what? This is everything's blown up, and how's it all gonna land? But yeah, I don't know, because I guess like because it happened at a party, like a big event with like, I guess like Lumen donors and employees and stuff. It still happened in a really enclosed space of people who don't want it to fall apart. So I think it would be relatively easy to kind of go, oh, let's ignore all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think the wider world will know that's happened.
That's true. We talked about this last time, I think, of just like how quickly will they just be like, it's all fine, like we got it covered, and how much will it like fracture?
Kind of a reset. Like, what do you think will happen to like the Innie versions of them?
Well, because I feel like maybe there will be someone else that comes in from the outside that like replaces PT, almost as like, we're trying to save these people.
Yeah,
So that the outies might have like another ally of some.
Yeah, because there's more of like a revolution group or something, right? That they haven't really got into out on the outside.
Yeah. We've only seen like little like pieces of the kind of like the overall. I mean, because in this episode, in the second episode, Mark goes on that date. And he leaves the date and he gets confronted with these, what do they call themselves? The like...
Oh, the lore on this show. It's just the teens,
the teenagers. The guy who's like,
twinks,
what are you, 12? There's two twinks. He comes out of his date and he gets confronted by the twinks.
There's two righteous twinks.
And they're like, oh, Severance is evil. So there's obviously just like a kind of general like pressure group outside of all this.
Just while we're talking about the date, I don't know if you had this, but there was part of me, because the date it goes so wrong and so bad, and it's like a really depressing series of events, but in my head I was like, could he pull this back? Like, is there someone who you could do that on a day and be like, damn, you still managed to get them hot? Like, you know what I mean?
Have
like,
to be really hot.
Yeah,
Adam Scott is really hot. He's
What the kind of name wrong at the very end?
Name wrong at the end, yelling at a kid for no reason. Like, could he? In my head, I was like, he could still pull it around. Like, it's not me.
Have you been on a date like that, Ian?
No, but I've definitely been in social situations where I reckon I've like known someone for quite a while and I don't know their name. Like, I'm quite bad at that.
Oh, sorry, go.
I don't want to talk about your name.
Yeah.
I genuinely have a real fear of... I think I forget names really quickly because I have an anxiety about forgetting them.
Yeah.
It kids me into forgetting them. But I could absolutely see myself being so nervous about a date that I don't register when someone says their name. Or I become paranoid that I've forgotten the name from the profile.
Yeah.
That I'd just be like saying mate and...
Mate.
And... Pal.
Buddy. Old sport. That's
Friend
a good one.
zoning them on the date by just being like, pal, mate.
Yeah.
But I will take it one further in that I actually don't think it's that big a deal. I think someone's name is actually the least important thing about them in a social interaction. And sometimes you're having a really good chat and you don't get their name, and then halfway through you're like, oh shit, this is a really good chat. I've completely forgotten their name. I'm going to have to... I reckon you get 4 chances to get it.
Yeah.
You can ask 4 times in one hang, I think. Yeah. And then that's really beyond the pale. I mean, you shouldn't do all 4. I would say burning 2 is probably the classy move.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I don't get too offended if someone's forgotten my name, because I'm like, you've got stuff going on, and we're usually there's like 50 other names at a place at any given time.
There are 50 names at a place. I love that.
Yeah. Let's not even talk about the place names. That's a whole other thing you got to remember, and it's
Was it Jay-Z said you're supposed to say their name like 3 times? So he'd be like, oh, nice to meet you, Michael. So, Michael, how did you get here?
How did Michael get here? So, Michael.
Michael. Michael. Is
that Michael?
Michael.
My Michael. Come over here, Michael. It's very... Because that's very Jay-Z advice, because they say a person's name is their favourite sound. So saying someone's name is how you make them like you.
Isn't it, Ian?
I would say, not for me. Because
swing and a miss.
I went to see the punk band Billy Talent recently.
Oh, nice.
And their guitarist is called Ian, and I'd forgotten that information. And there's a guy like standing like 3 people behind me who in the middle of every song went Ian. And you have this instinct where you're like, is that me? Is that about... Like, your body wants to turn around and go, is that, like, what? And I had that, like, weird instinct. I know it isn't for me, but I didn't like my name being shouted.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't stop shouting.
Yeah.
And I had, like, a 1% paranoia that it was, like, a friend of mine who had seen me was trying to get my attention.
Yeah.
I hated it.
You would never shake that as well every time. You think you were blocking him or something.
It happened, I would say, at least 20 times.
Did like the guy from Billy Talent ever like acknowledge him?
No, I was thinking like,
God.
come on Ian, just fucking say hello to this guy.
You start yelling it too, just to
I guess he was worried as well that if he goes, yes my man, and then they go, No, Ian Smith is people in front of me.
Does he mean me? The guy whose concert he's at? He might not. He might
That
not.
would be. There's no recovering from that. You have to leave the stage.
Oh, he'd be embarrassed.
Every Ian at that concert is just equally freaking out and not enjoying Billy Talent.
It was a horrible gig for Ian, and a horrible gig for people called Billy.
Yeah, man, oh man.
So, what else, like, in this episode did you, like, was stuck out to you, or that you, like, enjoyed particularly?
Or even anything on this watch, maybe, from
I guess something that I only registered on the second watch was let me make sure I know. Milchick.
Yes.
You see the scene where she's leaving and then immediately kind of going back in.
Yes.
So you see the conversations where he's like, don't worry, this happens, gotta go back in. But he says something along the lines of, "Oh, we were all so excited when we saw you were going to do this. Like, this is huge." And I reckon at the time I was probably like, "Oh, I wonder who she is," and then that sort of went really.
Yeah, I just thought it was part of his thing. Like, he was just kind of a weirdo. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, but yeah, like he's probably just like, because I guess you've got to be nice to them to get them to keep going back in.
Yeah.
But I guess on a second watch you're like, "Oh yeah, so this is a big deal." So I thought that was cool.
It's cool to pick up on that the second time. He's really, the opening of this episode, he's really putting in a shift. Like, he is really, he just does not, it's quite a tough, sometimes it's fun to look at it like, what if Milchick was the hero for this one? And then you're like, and that's when it's like, God, he's really can't catch a break with these guys. They're really completely, from the start with Helly through to the melon party and the game, and it derails so quickly and so bad.
Yeah. So Milchick is like, they're not separated.
No, he's not severed.
He's not severed.
And
no.
do we ever see him in his like non-work life?
Not really. I think we only see him at work. Yeah, we don't know much about him really. Yeah,
because I feel like that kind of makes him creepier, because like, I mean, all the bosses there come across as like creepy and evil. But I feel like eventually we're gonna see a clip of him with like a really normal, loving family life or something. I feel like that would be the coolest.
To see his backstory,
to see him in a very happy, like, family life. It would make him feel more evil.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, definitely. I feel like we have to see that as well, because so much of the backstories have been such a plot point where, like, finding out who Helly was a big deal, and then like Mark's life and even Herb's life, the John Turturro's character. That so much is such a big reveal. So I'd love to see. I wonder what he's got going on. If he's got like a side gig,
a side hustle,
or a hobby. Yeah, like he's secretly trying to get some stuff going. Yeah.
Maybe he writes the music. Maybe he's the Defiant Jazz guy.
Oh my god,
and then he's like, I'm gonna test out this music on the people on the 7th floors, and if they dig it, then I'll release it, to the wider world.
Yeah, they just don't. They let him cook. That's like a perk of the job. It's like these people have never heard music before. They're gonna love your mixtape, dude. You gotta check this out. Right?
Yeah, they're gonna think it's fire, whatever it is. Do you think? He balled the melon? Because that melon is pretty beautifully presented.
I've got to say, I hate the taste of melon.
Oh, it's horrible.
Oh, wow.
I hate melon.
It's no mango for sure.
Mango.
But I find the taste equivalent of like nails on a chalkboard. I find it
like texturally.
Something odd going on.
Yeah.
And they always serve it on airplanes. If you're getting an airplane meal, they give you a little fruit salad. Call it a fruit salad. They should call it a melon bowl. About 5 bits of melon, one bit of horrible pineapple, and I feel like I've got strange looks before because I've opened up my fruit salad, had 1 bit of pineapple, and then left it all.
Yeah, it is. Melon is one of the lower tier fruits. I would say. Yeah.
Let's do them all.
We can do this. We can run through. We said mango is pretty high.
Mango's pretty high.
How many
melon pretty
fruits
low?
Are there?
How many fruits?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to Google it.
How long's the pod?
500.
About an hour. So
About an hour.
I suppose we can name all the fruits we know at least.
We could probably get through at least 600 fruits. If we really knuckle down, forgot the whole premise of the podcast, we could probably get through it.
I put raspberry on the top tier.
Raspberry's really good.
I just find them so variable, you know. Like sometimes you'll get like a sort of like a parched raspberry that's sort of like, and you bite into it and it's juicy. But sometimes, you know, they're too
or a mush.
Mushy.
The mush, yeah. But I like the mush. I quite like the mush. I used to have it in porridge. I would put it in, stir it in.
Sometimes what I'll do, I get my raspberries in a bowl. I sort of chop them up with a spoon. I like mush them up into almost a. What you got? A Kool-Aid almost.
A Kool-Aid, yeah.
Like a pestle and mortar.
Yeah. Then I put the yogurt in. Then I put some granola and oats in.
Okay.
And I think it adds a bit of zing.
Yeah. Michelin.
It sounds really.
I actually did get a Michelin star for that.
Just you.
Yeah. Just my kitchen.
I mean, Ian, your latest show and also your Radio 4 show are about stress.
Yes.
Would you consider mushing a raspberry a good stress reliever?
Yeah, I guess for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because in my head I'm thinking, you're doing a wonderful job here, Ian. This is going to really contribute to a lovely breakfast.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's intentional destruction.
Do you think if it was raspberry mush party on the 7th floor, you'd be like, all right, this place is actually pretty sick. I would work here. Yeah.
I'd be... If I was in that sort of weird liminal space and I had no life outside of work and the only joy was melon.
Yeah.
I think... don't want to go too far here, but I think I would chop my own head off.
Yeah, I mean, you can understand why Helly does what she does in the show. Yeah. Do you think as well, because there's we kind of get a sense of the perks here and like the extra bits of what the day to day is like. Would you get into that? Do you think of like, they gave me a free mug and some stuff that would like
finger traps.
Yeah. I guess you would, fun. If you don't know anything and all you know is like a bland space. Yeah. Like I think if all you drank was water all your life, and then someone said, as a reward, you'll get a can of Coke. Yeah. And then you had it and you'd be like, wow. Yeah. What is that?
You probably could never go back to water. I mean, no,
you just work so hard.
And just like especially if they're like, there's now Coca-Cola vanilla, and you'd be like, what? What's vanilla? Like, it would make you work like so much harder. That's so true. They really do. I do love how much they patronize them on the show as well. Of like, they don't know anything, so give them the shittest version of it. And give them some egg parties and stuff.
In a later episode, it's so disgusting. They managed to choose the food that is just like so simultaneously just like plain and bland, but also like gross. So melon, deviled eggs.
It's like weird 50s housewife concoctions. Deviled eggs are really not good.
I kind of wondered about those. So what are the incentives? Can we remember them? There's
you got the waffle party where a bunch of sexy people dance and have sex with you. Is that right? At the waffle party.
Now, do they have sex with you?
I don't know, because do you remember the way he has the mask on and he's in the house, and that was the moment. I don't know if we talked about it yet, but that was the moment on this show where I was like, this is fucking something else. This is really freaky and weird, and I'm into it. Because it also has that weird music playing. But I assume that was why Dylan likes the perks so much, because he's maybe the only one who's gotten to come out of all of them. And in terms of incentives, if you don't know anything outside of work and someone lets you come, that's a pretty huge incentive.
Are you even aware that you can?
Yeah, you don't know.
How much knowledge do you have?
Yeah.
I mean, that is the question about like the severance procedure. Are you sitting there like, I know that I've had sex and like I know what it feels like, because I get to if you don't know like that you have a partner outside of work or whatever.
That probably is one bit of a plot hole, isn't it?
Yeah.
That when you work up on the table, you're not like, what are these? Unless they just edit out the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, that was the first run of it. They were like, we've got to do something about the fingers. Yeah, we've got to get...
sever out the fact that you know that you're a human being. Because like, you do know that like Michigan exists, but you just don't know like anything about it. It must be...
That's true, actually.
You see the procedure. It's so gross. Like, they cut open her head in this episode, and like you could see the like it being injected in, and it's weird that she's awake for it as well.
But have you seen those videos of people having brain surgery when they're awake, because like that's like how they test that. I guess they're not going too far or doing damage.
Yeah.
The other person's.
Well, if their face starts going
Yeah,
like,
like or did they just die? But
Did
people,
you ever see
they just die.
Have you ever seen the look on a doctor's face when your face goes weird and then it's like, I was like, okay, it's like,
Yeah,
"What?
yeah.
yeah, just okay, yeah.
won't go there again. But, yeah, I'm sure there was something where, and they could do stuff, and if they touch certain parts of the brain, you'd get like sad. So
Oh, really?
You're like, someone's like in your head doing bits, and all of a sudden you're just sort of going like, oh, like I just feel, and they're like, oh right, yeah, won't touch that bit.
Yeah.
But you can just touch bits of people's. I don't know if it's a scientific fact, but I'm sure
No, they do
I've
touch
seen
them,
someone.
yeah.
Yeah, you just like touch a bit of the brain, and they're like, whoa!
Oh, man, yeah. Well, there's those surgeries. Have you ever seen those? The kids with their head, they like conjoined at the head, and they had to have like a brain surgery. And it was one of these stories where like they live, they're fine, I think. I hope so. I actually don't know, but they had to like. There was like we have to do this very particular surgery where we have to kind of separate the bits of your brains that are connected.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah, it was.
I'm sorry. Science is amazing, but I'm just so squeamish. I'm just like, don't touch the brain.
Who specialises in that surgery?
Yeah.
It must come up so so rarely.
Yeah,
If you're like, I'm the best in the world at separating the brain
of
conjoined twins, be like, well, you're gonna go on holiday most of your time.
It's very like removed from, because I feel like with surgeons and doctors you have a thing of like, oh, they have the Hippocratic Oath and they care about, but there's something about brain surgeons where I'm like, no, you want to put someone's brain in a jar, or like, you know, that I distrust you. You want to do something sinister.
You're a Franken doctor.
It's them and dentists. Like I feel like those are the two sorts of nastier characters of medicine.
Yeah. What about podiatrists? What about the feet guys?
Feet guys, I still think that comes from a place of goodwill, you know what I mean? I feel like that's still...
I think it comes from a sexual place.
Well, you can have goodwill and be sexual.
We were actually talking about this before we started recording, which is... we're talking about Feetopedia. Are you on Feetopedia?
Oh,
Do you
I
know?
doubt it.
You wouldn't come up with...
I'm barely on Wikipedia.
I would rather... Do you think there's a weird fame thing of like, I want to get on Footopedia
But
before
not
Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, if you're on Footopedia before Wikipedia, what a weird trajectory you've had.
foot first. You put your best foot forward.
Exactly.
I don't think I've put enough feet pics on Instagram together.
Yeah, you're wearing shoes today.
Yeah.
We couldn't debut your feet.
Yeah, and I wear shoes to bed.
Yeah.
Not even your partner seems.
Yeah.
Like full
Never
Doc
be too
Martens up
careful.
to the thing.
Where these feet perverts will
They kinda come-
sneak into your house.
Tickling your foot with a little feather.
Yeah.
These
Good luck tickling my feet.
That's
I've got some
thick
size
soles.
14 Doc Martens over my size 9.5 Doc Martens.
Okay, to bring this back to the pod.
Yeah.
You know, this might kind of bring us back to theories, because a lot of people have theories that, you know, what they're doing, the sort of sorting, which we first see in this episode. We see Helly like getting to know the whole sort of like scary number thing.
Yes.
A lot of people have theories that it's like a medical thing, that, you know, that maybe it's like PTSD and they're like taking things out of people's brains. What do you think the different like...
Yeah, because I think, I don't know, but I was trying to, for this podcast, I was trying to think. And I guess watching it back, like, the idea that it gives you emotional responses like fear, then part of me was wondering whether, but then who comes first? That they could be taking, like, memories from other people, that they're going around the kind of brain code and going, oh, this is like, elicits a strong emotion, so we get rid of that. Like, these are core memories.
Like they're kind of streamlining Severance in general to keep people less emotional or keep them more work focused, or more just generally they've got like a database of... It would be great if it was Footopedia, to be fair. That would be pretty funny. Just putting that's the different sizes of different celebrities' feet.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's
Kirsty
like...
Dunst, you know, over there.
Wow, that's I like that theory. So the Footopedia theory, that's the one we're floating.
And the emotions ones, right? Yeah, I'm not. I was not trying to undermine.
No.
You know, there's emotions stuff. Let's talk about feet again. Come on.
Is it some kind of like, because I guess the goats come up later.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have a theory on the goats?
Well, I wonder if like there's potential that, but I guess if Severance is their big thing, then maybe they're happy doing that, or I don't know if that's like, I say, a first stopgap towards like some kind of like workforce that doesn't have rights in itself. That if they're trying to do like some kind of cloning or genome sort of thing.
This was your theory as well. Last time was the ghosts as clones.
I was thinking about cloning, and I think that there's kind of something perhaps in it because we were talking about the fabulous intro and the music and like all the marks you see. And there's one red mark, and I think in the teaser we see him finally wearing a red outfit. Yeah,
so in the teaser you see he kind of is flashing between. He's got his red jumper on from Outie Mark, and like he's flashing between Innie Mark in the Lumen office, and then he's holding balloons as well, like in the teaser as well. So. It's weirdly a good teaser, and it's like, oh my god, like that's. But then also, it's kind of almost a bad teaser because I'm like, oh, that's the opening. It's like seeing the live action version of it. So they.
I guess that must be the memory that his like Innie and Outie are having are starting to maybe bleed. Back or something.
Integration, reintegration.
Yeah, because we meet Petey like properly in this episode, and like he's all.
And he sees himself, doesn't he?
He sees himself in the mirror. So maybe that's happening in an extreme way.
That was the moment as well. I remember the first time I watched this 3 years ago now, or 2 years ago. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. When that was when I was like, okay, I'm locked into watching all of this show. And I think the show knew that because when they had the sting of like Daydream, come on, and like I was like, oh, you guys knew, that was when people were going to be in on this. Where you've had
a cool moment.
They've had like 5 big reveals and like nothing are going on. You're like Cobell's living next door, and then also there's like dream. Also, you get some cool dream stuff too, which like
Cobell's the first reveal.
Yes,
at the end of the first episode.
So, and I remember just in my head like, okay, I'm in for all of this. So whatever you're gonna do. That actually was something the Cobell reveal I was thinking on this watch because she talks about come by the shop and stuff. Does she have to do a shift? Like at her crafts shop when she needs to, like, is it open? Like, how deep undercover does she go?
Well, that's what I was wondering. Because she's like, this is a wonderful line. She's such a great actress. It's Patricia Arquette, I think. And she's like, come over to the shop. I'll bake you a mugwort bath bomb that will make you sleep like a rag doll. It's just so beautifully done. But
none of her sentences end where they should.
Yeah,
where you think they're gonna.
The thing she's gonna say.
And why do you think she lives next door to Mark? Like, do you think the other Innies have someone else from the office also nearby? Or do you think it's because of the relationship with his wife? It must have something to do with it.
She definitely has a special interest in Mark.
Yeah, I think... My theory is just... Oh, sorry, you.
Oh, I was just about to go, and what the fuck is happening with his wife?
Yeah. Also, who we meet in this episode, we didn't know it, but we meet in the most clinical way.
Yeah.
Who's also... I love... just on a side note, the actress of Miss Casey, Deishan Lackman, is so good. And she was in this show Dollhouse, which I watched when I was years ago. This was like on in the 2000s or something. And she's so good in that, and I hadn't seen her in anything else. And in my head, I was like, "Oh, she must have had to quit." And then now that she's back in the big Apple TV money, because that show is also about weird brainwashing and living in a thing. So I was like, "Wow, she's really cornered a niche of
wasn't she in Neighbours?
Was she in Neighbours? Oh man,
Away or something.
She deserves to do something a little bit more lighthearted. She only. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. My theory is, I think the way they got Gemma, his wife, into the severed floor was some kind of like mini scheme of Cobell's that was like against Lumen's wishes or something, or like kind of under the radar, that she went out on her own to stage this car crash or something to then use the car crash as a means of severing both of them and getting them into the or something like. And so I think that's why she has such a special interest in Mark, because she also has that bit in the wellness check where they're talking to each other,
and she's really keen that like Mark recognizes her, but obviously he doesn't,
or like or trying to see, which is that was one of my favorite scenes. But I guess scene
she doesn't have an Outie life that you see, so I wonder if she does have any form of that, or if she it just isn't clocking in and out.
Oh, she's just because she goes back to the testing floor, right? Which would suggest she's just stuck there, and they're just constantly.
What are they doing to her? What is the
Yeah.
What are they testing? I suppose. I mean, it could be that it's been there was a car crash and she's had like a severe brain injury, and they're like trying to sort of like. I don't know.
That she actually can't leave because she.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't send her out there. I mean, partly because she's dead.
Yeah.
To the outer world.
Yeah.
It's also a weird, and this might be a little fade deep, but there's something about like Cobell's care is so sincere, even though she's clearly so nutty and like doing evil stuff. But like there's this weird perverted care that she has, which feels very true of the way like companies talk to people. Like, we're a family here, we all take care of each other, even though like when push comes to shove, they'll make you do stuff, kind of thing.
Yeah. She's like a personification of like corporate bullshit.
Yeah. Speaking of corporate bullshit as well, there's the bit where, again with the mango, not mango. God, sorry, this is how much I want mango right now.
Yeah.
I just really want a mango right now. Melon at the melon party. I was flashback so hard to some of the like corporate conversations I've had at like 9-to-5 jobs of just like where you're saying like nothing and you're just withering. This week I had to go. This is so boring. I had to do like I was taking notes for a focus group at work, and they gave us a lunch. And everyone always makes the joke that they kind of make in it. I'm just like, oh, you came for the. That's why I
Free
came.
lunch,
And it's just like it's, and you see it in this show. It's like it's so degrading that they just know the basis, like just to eat like a coronation chicken sandwich was like a big deal to me.
Yeah, well, it's true to an extent. I suppose when you have your day job, you become this weird person who's like, coronation chicken sandwich, melon bar. I mean, I don't know, Ian, if you've ever had a kind of job that's...
Not really.
Just in general. Do you work?
Yeah,
Do you work?
I was quite lucky that, like, I didn't work during uni, which meant I had, like, no money. I had, like, the student loan, but I was buying bags of sausages from Iceland.
Nice.
For £1.50. You used to get 22 sausages for £1.50.
What?
The percentage meat content was
unbelievably
low.
It was 1.5%.
Yeah, it was. I think I remember looking at
22,
it like 40% meat.
That's so many sausages as well. That would be like a pressure to. Was there like a pressure to eat them?
Did you freeze them?
Or did you freeze
they
them?
were frozen.
Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, Iceland, yeah.
Phew.
That's the whole thing.
But yeah, so I didn't work because I was like, I've got to do well at uni, and then I was cast in a sitcom, which didn't pay a lot, but for me at the time I was like, oh, this is loads.
Yeah.
And I can just do comedy, while slowly that money would go away.
Yes.
And then occasionally I'd get like a gig that would sort of top the money up a little bit. So I was just over the course of maybe 2 or 3 years losing that money.
Yeah.
And then I think I started going, oh right, I should maybe take it more seriously.
But it was comedy, not like a day job where you had a melon bar.
Yeah, I should have. It's one of my regrets I didn't get a normal job.
Really?
Like earlier on.
Oh,
yeah,
like just to have more money, or just or the experience, or
both. I think. You just would have more stuff to draw on in life, and financially. Just
also the money.
Kevin, get a normal job.
Yes.
Yeah, Kevin, don't try and achieve your dreams too quickly.
Whatever
you
you're
will
doing
regret it
as a hobby. It's not good enough.
Whatever defiant jazz playlist you're making and playing to the 7th floor.
You don't have what it takes.
So in that context, I have a question. Would you? Sorry, we were just like that hang there of like Kevin's really getting an
Kevin's
egg.
actually a once in a generation talent, and you're telling him to quit.
Yeah.
Well, ironically, it's Kevin Bacon actually that we're talking to.
Kevin Bacon, not Kevin 21 Sausages.
He's changed his name.
He doesn't want one of them. Yeah, one of them is like, nah, just we'll throw that out.
The 22 sausages. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You've got to have an even number of sausages, I think.
I agree. I'd be
very suspicious if I opened up a packet and it was like 7 sausages.
Yeah.
It's enough to have 7 friends round, and you will have 3 sausages.
Yeah, because I guess you want to give everyone 2. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, sorry. But what I was going to ask you, was in that case that you haven't had that kind of job, would the idea of Severance, as in pitched to you as perfect work-life balance, you have no idea what goes on, you can do everything you want to do, and would you be open to it, or would it still kind of be a bit?
Yeah, I guess not. I think like I think you just want to take everything in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the mundanity and the misery are all useful building blocks.
The comedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was something I think the creators said, and also because the reason I was laughing, by the way, is because we've asked this to all our guests so far, and it's appealed to no one, which really hits home that the show is making such a case that this is a terrible idea. Like it's making such an aggressive case. But the creator, I think, because he said the idea came from he was working these like temp jobs, and he was he would think to himself, well, I'm like, oh god, I wish I could just like zone out of this and get out of this so I could focus on writing. But but in his head he was like, oh no, but this means I'm like losing time on Earth, which is like the whole point you're here. So you guys could hang out basically.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Yeah, Dan.
Just ask if I can.
Dan.
Yeah.
Can I come in the writer's room and then all my predictions will come eerily true? I'll just keep pitching.
And you will
cloning!
It's cloning. Yeah.
Get this, they're cloning here.
And it's like, that's not what we're doing. We have mapped some of this out.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, nah.
I can't imagine the like George R.R. Martin level world building, lore, D&D, like here are the numbers. No, that can't be true. This is of that writer's room where they're getting so deep into whatever they, and also I guess just whatever they think it means at this point, because no one really knows.
Do you think they know? Because I think the creators of Lost, I don't mind the ending of Lost as much as people like hate it. Because
I've never actually seen Lost.
But we had Glenn on last week, and he was slating Lost. He was
beside
like,
himself.
They lost their way.
But a lot of, I do think that.
They got lost.
They got lost.
But I think people think that the ending meant that they were dead all along.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't think that?
I think that's explicitly not what they're saying.
Oh, okay.
I think it's basically like stuff is ongoing, but the church scene at the end is like where they go when they die, but they're not all dead. They're not all dead yet. But when they do, they'll be there with each other. Oh, that's what the writers try and say.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
You were smiling like your gran when you're saying like, oh yeah, that's sweet.
I think people think that the ending meant that they were dead all along.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't think that?
I think that's explicitly not what they're saying.
Oh, okay.
I think it's basically like stuff is ongoing, but the church scene at the end is like where they go when they die, but they're not all dead. They're not all dead yet. But when they do, they'll be there with each other.
Oh, but I like this take because it's so the opposite of what people are always like, oh, they're all dead or whatever. It doesn't matter. And I think it also probably speaks to Severance's like. Oh god, I nearly said sophistication. I was like, no, that's too much. But like the state of how good writing it is that it's already being compared to Lost. Of like,
there's already.
Yeah, but I do think Lost were like improvising and then just going, oh, and then this could happen.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the ending was as bad as some people say, but I don't think I got any real satisfaction from the conclusion. I just didn't think it was. Oh, so they were all fucking dead, like we said from the start.
Yeah, it wasn't like fucking hell. It was just
but I
like
didn't
that's
really
disappointing.
Get anything of like, oh, that's why it's happening this. So I hope I'd love Severance to have like a however many season plan, and then like if it's 4 series and it's done, I'd be happy.
I do like the idea that you were satisfied. You weren't satisfied, but like you were used to disappointment, so you're like, it wasn't so bad. Like,
I think
accept
it was
what you give me.
Bad, but not as bad as some people think.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's which isn't great praise.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, we're already talking about the ending of Severance. Like, what could be the worst like solution to all of this?
Oh, good question.
I mean, it's all a dream.
Awful. Yeah. I mean, that would be the worst. That it's a dream, or that when his wife died, he got so stressed that he
invented it.
Yeah, invented this like that he's just in an insane asylum.
Yeah.
And he kind of eventually wakes up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you just went a bit mad."
It would suck if it did that like Matrix thing of like, none of that. Your delusions are coming back or whatever. And it's like,
But I really can't think like how, like if you were writing the second series, trying to think what you would do with it.
Literally,
everyone would do it in a different way.
There's always that cool thing of, and I think it's on good shows where they're playing a game. They have a framework for it that we don't know, and that makes it so they actually they'll go in like a zag to it. Kind of like, did you ever watch Better Call Saul? That show?
No, I haven't seen that yet. I watched Breaking Bad, but I haven't seen Better Call Saul.
I guess it's kind of the same where it's like what they want to answer is different from what we want answered, and there's like a weird toss up because basically on that show there was this weird thing of they wanted it known that he was a good lawyer, like the best lawyer, and they for some reaan they felt like, oh no, we have to prove that, and it was like, I wasn't even thinking of that watching the show, like I wasn't even. I thought the thing is as well, I think I'm at a point where I've drank the Kool-Aid so hard on this show, the Luminade, if you will, it's. I can't, in my head it's like I can't see how this would go wrong because like it's already done so much stuff. But maybe that's just because it's not out yet. I'm just like knowing.
And I think it's never going to be. I think if you're in a good like writer's room like that, you're probably going to think like, oh, what could happen? Oh, well, like this and this and this and this, and after you've gone this and this and this and this, then you start actually making notes of your ideas.
Yeah.
Because I think if it's the first like if you're writing a crime novel and you're like, oh, the twist could be that that's happening. That's probably the first twist that everyone has thought of.
Yeah.
So it should.
It
shouldn't be that, and it should. Like, I guess you should watch a TV series and go, oh, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yes.
It's always that like I think we were talking about this a little bit last week about how the kind of the social media aspect of it, as there's so many people floating their theories around, and that. Really, ideally, the writer's room should not be influenced by that.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Someone is gonna come up with. There's someone out there on Reddit or wherever, some weird forum, who has already come up with what's gonna happen in series 2.
Yeah.
But like the problem is trying to second guess that. Like reading that, and be like, no, it's not that.
And the annoying thing is, like, someone will have nailed it just through chance.
Yeah.
And then be like, I knew it.
I'm a genius.
I think like they do, and then like
act
as if they're an authority. But I think if you guess enough time.
Oh yeah. My
my
wife does that actually whenever we're watching mystery movies or something. She'll guess every alternative. So then by the end she's like, I guessed it. I got it right.
He's a ghost.
Like,
He's his own brother.
No, I suppose when we were watching Knives Out, I was like, it was him. No, it was him. No. I said before it was him. It was him. And then like and then she gets it. I'm like, wow, you got it. You just.
It's one of the 8 principal cast members.
Yeah. Oh, it's the famous guy. Okay, cool. Yeah, we got it.
Daniel Craig has killed them all.
Yeah. It was actually he dreamed the whole thing.
He's on Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Is there a show? I'm just wondering. Actually, real quick. Oh, no, I'll ask you, and then we'll go back just to last takes on the episode. But is there a show that did upset you where the ending went so astray, or even a movie or anything like that, where which you actually got upset and like you felt like it wasted your time and you were let down?
I'm sure there is. I'm trying to think like.
You seem pretty even-keeled about TV in general, which makes me feel like
you're pretty chill about this, considering you consider yourself a stressed person.
I mean, I saw True Detective. I loved the first series.
Oh yeah, so good.
And the second series I didn't hate, but I didn't think it was great.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it had what I like about True Detective. Like, I read a Guardian article that gave like the 4th series that's out like a 5-star review, and it said like, finally we're moving away from the like macho like 2 men in a car type thing. And I never really felt that's what it was about. I liked the kind of Louisiana polluted like Midwestern landscape.
The world of it kind of thing.
Yeah, these like troubled detectives and stuff. And the second series felt too like big city, and Vince Vaughn I don't think was incredible, and it went a bit off. But the third series I loved and felt like it was in like the kind of deltas of America again. The end of that I found very frustrating. because like I try not to spoil it too much, but like
It's been out for a while. You're fine.
yeah, okay. Well, the lead detective who has like Alzheimer's, and will occasionally just have a complete freeze.
Is this season 3? Sorry. Or
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Cool, sweet.
Like a freeze where it's like, I don't know where I am or why I'm here, and just as he is about to find like the missing girl from this case like 30, 40 years ago, or whatever, and he's kind of worked it out, and he pulls up at a house, and then as he's in the car, he's like, I don't really know why I'm here. And you can see, and it's nice, you see the girl, she's alive and she's with someone, and they're like in a modest living, but they're happy. But you're just like, I don't really know where I am. And his son comes and kind of like finds him because they're worried about him, picks him up and drives him away. And I feel like there's a look where the son looks at the house and looks at those people and is like, I wonder if he's kind of like, oh, I think, and I was just like, yeah, right, if you think it, just fucking say it.
Yeah, you wouldn't drive away, you'd be like, let's double check.
Dude,
Let's
that's
hang
such
out
a good
here
ending.
until we get him back. Get him back for a second. Just to let him...
That's crazy. That's so frustrating as an ending.
I just wanted the moment, but I think it's too satisfying maybe, but I wanted the moment of this like troubled detective who's kind of losing his mind a bit to at least have one moment where he's kind of like, I worked it out. And to have that satisfaction, even if I would have liked to see that, and then for him to like lose his memory and for the kid to be like, oh, let's take it back. At least see the moment where he's like, and I don't know, maybe you do trying to like misremembering it, but I found that frustrating.
It's a bit like, have you seen the movie Prisoners? The way that movie ends as well, where you're like not sure if he saved him or not. It's Hugh Jackman. Yeah. It's quite a wild ending actually. But do you think they were thinking, oh, they'll expect the big payoff, and then we're not going to give it to them because that's not what this show's about, kind of thing?
I do think it's become a bit like a lot of shows. I guess end on a. I guess we never know because I guess it shows you care about a show to be like, oh man, I'm so frustrated.
Yeah.
It starts a conversation, whereas if you just go, oh, it's all worked out.
Yeah.
It's kind of not interesting, but it is really nice sometimes.
Yes, I agree. Rihanna, do you have a similar? Is there any show that frustrates you? Other than Lost, like which I think we.
No, I mean it is just like I think perhaps like just a thing about modern writing is you want to do something new, and we know the conventions of storytelling, which are that like a satisfying ending should be that he discovers that, and like this he discovers it's a girl, and like you get that kind of payoff. So I think so many like writers now want to be like, no, we don't do the thing that is like the because you have that thing like there are only 6 stories you can ever tell, or like there are only certain ways that a story can end that are satisfying. So there's always going to be someone out there who wants to be the maverick, who's like, I'm going to invent a new way for a story to end. I had that bit with Succession ending where in my head the worst thing would have been, oh, there's no winner because they're all fucked and like nothing works out. And I was like, no, but you did say it was a game and like there was a pay. And I quite liked that they said, oh no, there is a winner and a loser of this. And
I really feel like they nailed the landing on Succession.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh my god, I think I watched that final scene, the boardroom fight scene at the end. I genuinely watched it like 10 times because it was just it felt different every time I watched it.
I got widely criticised and I agreed. Like I liked Killing Eve. I liked the first couple of series, but then I sort of went off it a bit, and I found that like even in the first series, which everyone like raves about because like no one will criticise Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah.
And
until today,
Phoebe,
you come and...
No, I think she's great. Like, and
Indiana Jones 5 wasn't very good.
Oh, that's a brilliant film.
Yeah.
No, I liked the first series of Fleabag. I thought the second series was brilliant.
Yeah.
But I don't like how like The Guardian, when the James Bond trailer came out, they were like, you can already see the influence of Phoebe Waller-Bridge on the female characters in this trailer. You're like, well, one of them has just fired a gun in a revealing dress, and you're like, yeah, we can see her sort of feminist influence. But and I guess she left Killing Eve, and it sort of went to different sort of levels of nepotistic writers
Oh really? Did it change hands? I don't actually know that.
I think it was just Emerald Fennell was the showrunner at one point. And
Was she?
She hadn't
Right.
show ran anything. I don't think. But I just have a chip on my shoulder.
I think
posh lady.
It's fair enough that she is definitely among the poshest people in Britain, and also happens to be in our industry.
But the end, and
her name, both their names don't help as well. Like Emerald Fennell sounds like a fancy toilet company.
But I think, like, I haven't watched Saltburn, and I sort of refuse because I think watching a class satire by someone who's as wealthy as that, I'm a bit like, oh, I don't care.
It's to be fair, you're not. I feel like the hype was. It was kind of like if you were in it, you were in it, and then if not, don't worry about it.
It's easy to shock people. We can all just go, he drinks some cum out of a bath.
But it's not that shocking though. That was the thing when I watched it. It's not that shocking, and it's not that sexy. Like if you say something sexy and shocking, you're like, okay, all right, some kind of visceral reaction will happen. Like, and neither of it. It didn't. It wasn't hot. Sorry, it wasn't hot for me.
Sorry.
But I thought.
Sorry, Emerald.
I think I watched all of Killing Eve. Like, it's just something that I would carry on watching. But I did think the ending of that was bad.
Yeah,
I thought it was very bad.
Well, because I liked I haven't actually seen the ending, but the ending of season 1, I felt like it would have been so sick if it ended on this weird, surreal kind of moment where she vanishes. I just thought like that I just love those kind of resolutions really do it for me because I'm like, oh yeah, what if it was just like something dreamy happened? Like, I don't know.
And very quickly, one of the worst. And it's weird that I was this invested in this show, Gossip Girl.
Oh, well, infamously so, right? I mean,
disgusting.
Did you not like?
I don't think it made sense.
I'm just really like shocked that Ian's a GG.
I love Gossip Girl so much. I'd say I've watched Gossip Girl 3 times.
Wow.
This is some of our this is maybe our hottest take drop, and we've had just
This
by the numbers.
This is an exclusive, guys. Ian Smith is a Gossip Girl.
The ending is atrocious.
Yeah.
I see why thematically it would be Dan, but
even hearing you say the names is really making
up. But I just think he and his close family were scuppered by some of the revelations of Gossip Girl enough that he's sort of ruined and upset. Why would you be upset or surprised? The scenes where he's like, "What the fuck?" It's like, you posted it.
I don't know. Sometimes I've read tweets back and I've been like, "What the fuck?"
Maybe that's how it ended. That he posts it and then his Alzheimer's kicks in, and he's just like, "What? Did I post that? Did I ruin lives?" And then his son comes along and takes him away.
And I shouldn't be talking about other TV series as much, but I repeatedly watch scenes from Fargo, like particularly like series 1 and 3. But the series 3 with Ewan McGregor playing like dual roles doesn't get as much hype. But I love VM Varga, the kind of bad guy in series 3, and he's this like very rich, powerful guy, but has no outward like look of that. Like his teeth are rotting, and But the end of that scene, he's almost given this like mystical quality. Like there's a scene where he disappears in a lift, like he's coming down the lift. People are waiting for him and he's just not there. But his clothes are on the floor of the lift.
What?
And it's almost like he's a slimy kind of snake and he can vanish into nothing.
Fargo does that so well. You got top tier baddies and top tier like just weird moments that are really disconcerting. Like I think at the end of the last season when he's tied up and
I haven't seen the latest one.
No, of the first season. Sorry, when he's got his mouth is bleeding or something. It's when when Billy Bob Thornton's character. Have you seen?
I have seen the first.
Okay, cool. Like where he dies. Basically, it's such they hold on this weird his anger and it's like like what is his? He's such like a force of nature and they weirdly actually. And I'm not saying this just to put a pretty bow on it, but they are very similar shows, I feel like, Severance and Fargo, in terms of humour and also it's very cold.
Yeah.
In both places.
But I think the frigidness of like the outside of Severance, of like the outside of the office really it kind of, because when you're inside there is no indication of the weather. Like I think in the first episode when he takes off his snow boots, puts on his like normal shoes, goes downstairs, and you're just like, oh, these people have no idea if it's like hot outside. Cold outside.
And also just like the weird modes of speech that are weirdly like endearing. Like I feel like on Fargo you see them talking like, oh nice, and the same with Severance.
And the Fargo showrunner was reading about his like writing that he says, a bit like Fargo the film, every series will have one representation of pure evil, one representation of pure good, and then characters in between.
Okay,
so
nice,
usually
yeah.
one of the pregnant police officer in the first series is like just a good person. There's no real complication to her character.
Yeah.
In the sense that like she's good and she's trying to do the right thing. And then Malvo, Billy Bob Thornton's character, is just evil, and you don't really know why he's doing it, what his motivation is. But it's kind of similar in Severance, that the Innies are kind of purely innocent. They haven't really done anything, and they're not doing anything wrong even when they're rebelling against the company.
Totally.
The company is this kind of unexplained evil presence. Even how you don't see the bosses, you only hear of them on like the phone call, and Milchick as well does come across like you don't know his motivation. He just seems like an evil kind of unstoppable force.
Yeah, I think it's true. That's true, but he's also. I do like how fallible Milchick is. That often like he'll have like the reason that they're able to rebel later on is because he's. Actually, because he's the only one. Seemingly, it's a 2-person department running the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he's just running around.
They
trying
need
to keep
more
on top of it.
guys. That's one of the problems with
short-staffed.
Yeah, they are weirdly short-staffed down there.
But he has such authority, and he's very intimidating. It's a very physical performance. I feel like the way he walks around, and actually for all of them, but like
he's
the
very
way,
muscular.
the rhythm, and very like authoritative. I realise we only have a couple minutes left. Ian, is there anything you'd like to plug just before we run out the clock?
Yes. Well, I'm doing like at the end of June. I'm not sure when this will be out, but I'm doing a little Northern News podcast tour.
Great.
Me and Amy Gledhill are going around the north. But other than that, I'll be at the Edinburgh Fringe doing 3 work in progress dates between the 12th and 14th of August. But that's all I will be doing at the Fringe.
Okay, go.
And maybe for the rest of my career.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just whipping.
Who knows what the time what time holds, you know?
Yeah.
Wonderful. But what were the dates again for the Northern News one?
Northern News will be starting on the 23rd of June and will end on the 28th of June. But I'll be at the Edinburgh Fringe from the 12th to the 14th.
Okay, great.
Of August.
Cool. Lovely. You got guys. You got multiple dates you can hit on.
You can spend your summer with Ian if you want.
If you'd like.
Summers with Ian would be a good I don't know what it would be, but you could keep that. Yeah. But if you're listening or watching this, thank you so much. If you have any theories about Severance or anything, literally anything you want to say to us, we'll be here. We'll be here to read it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and join us next time where we're talking about episode 3 and some of the other stuff that comes up. Thank you so much, Ian, for coming on and talking to us about Severance.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Danny McKeown.
I've been Rihanna Shaw.
And keep it integrated, I guess.
Bye.